Hi, I'm Cecile, and I'm one of the founders of In Centre London and also a guide in the Modern Mystery School, which is an ancient mystery school, actually, or a mystery school that is modern but has ancient roots in the lineage of King Solomon. And today I'd like to talk a little bit more about what this lineage means and where this comes from, these teachings. There's many mystery schools out there, still today, many lineages, and many mystery schools that we would consider as very valid lineages that come in from slightly different traditions, but have similar teachings or similar understandings of how to work with energy, although they come from different lineages. And so the particularity of the lineage of King Solomon is that, in a way, you could say that it's a form of the Western mysticism, or it's a mystery school that started, as far as we know, it's older even than ancient Egypt, but it definitely has its roots in ancient Egypt or in the traditions of Thoth. And after that, King Solomon brought it into the rest of the world by organizing this wisdom and understanding in a way that it could be shared more widely. And so the teachings traveled, through Greece, ancient Greece, and Italy, ancient Spain, and then all over Europe. Often the royal families or the nobility would practice this form of magic in selected circles. And typically because they would have the energy and time to dedicate to this type of studies. Obviously not everyone was involved in that, but the ones that were dedicated a lot of their life to safeguarding or upholding some of these mysteries, oftentimes in closed societies or closed groups, because religion wasn't always very welcoming of these teachings. So the teachings have survived primarily by being underground for many hundreds of years and thousands of years, but then at times they were on the surface more. And some of those times are very significant, so the arts of Michelangelo, of Da Vinci, are an expression or creative expression through arts of some of these teachings during a period where it was more acceptable to be open or outward with this deeper understandings or wisdom. And today, again, we are in a time where, the world is more open to this kind of understandings or knowledge, and we are able to share these teachings more openly. And there have been other periods of time where that was the case. Rudolf Steiner, for example, was an initiate who shared a lot of these teachings through his Theosophy movement, and other such initiates like Carl Jung were quite outspoken in a way about their understanding of the magic and mysticism, but held their true roots a little bit more away from the public scrutiny, if you want. But if you dig a bit deeper into their writings and also the sources they used, you understand that they were actually initiates. So today we are practicing and sharing, the teachings of the lineage of King Solomon quite widely. And we do so by ensuring that the teachings remain in integrity through oral teachings. So we don't, I'm speaking to you on video today, we don't actually share teachings on video or online. All the teachings are done in person because there is an energetic transmission that happens in true mystery school fashion when we come together. And so that's how King Solomon, worked, and how all the great masters of the mystical school traditions worked. They actually received these teachings orally first, and then, of course, some of them had forms of transcribing it or expressing some of their learnings through art or other writings. Yeah. So if you feel interested in finding out more about the mystery school traditions, there is actually a class we offer which is called the 7 Mystery Schools. And in this class, we explore the different lineages out there, and we astral travel to each of the locations where the mystery schools are active today. And so we can receive a sense of the energy of each of the schools. So because there is ancient lineages in Australia, in Tibet, in Romania, and other places of the world, and so we can connect to those energetically to understand what frequency they hold, and how they are kind of safeguarded still today. There was actually a time where there was even more mystery schools that were active, but for a true mystery school to be active, there needs to be a lineage holder who is able to safeguard or understand the quality of the teachings to the degree that they can actually evolve them. So in a way, that's the difference between religion and a mystery school, which is that in a religion, you have at some point a prophet who writes a book, and then that book becomes a dogma, if you want. It becomes something that we refer back to, but the people who refer back to are not necessarily prophets themselves. They haven't received the same training or evolution that allows them to understand energy at the same level as the person who wrote the book. So in a mystery school, there needs to be a lineage holder who has that ability of keeping, safeguarding the quality of the teachings and the purity of the teachings and evolving them. And so that's why some of the mystery schools are no longer, around. That's what we say today, and why some are still here, because they have lineage holders and people have dedicated their life to train in this way to actually really protect the teachings and ensure that they remain in integrity. And so in the lineage that I've trained in the modern mystery school, there's many lineage holders actually. There's more than one, and some of them are specialized, some of them hold multiple keys, but there's many lineage holders and they are in many different countries, but they all work together in unison to kind of protect this body of knowledge, to ensure that it's being shared in a way that's in integrity with the true Hermetic ray. So I personally have trained in many different traditions prior to coming to these teachings, and I could sense really the purity and integrity of these teachings so deeply. They touched my soul in a way that nothing has before. So if you feel curious about the mystery school, I would encourage you to maybe make contact with a guide in an area where you are living. Like, I'm a guide and I'm based in London in the UK, and I work here and I work in Europe, but there's other guides in other areas of the world. And so if you're interested in exploring this type of path further, I'm happy to connect you to someone near in your area. And so feel free to drop a message and on the website, and I find a way to connect you to someone that can work with you.